Cup. Oh,
Oh, it
there-
disappeared.
There it is.
it
Do you get
doesn't
paid
work.
for that?
What's that?
Do you get paid for that? I'm gonna start putting signs
No.
about Sandown
That's what
businesses
they
behind me.
No, it just happened to be the next in rotation in the cupboard. I grabbed it.
Senator French, you should be all set.
We're all live.
We are.
Being April 20th, 9 a.m., I welcome everyone to the Senate Commerce Committee. Before we get started, I'll go through the page of introductions. I'd like to welcome you. My name is Harold French, Senator District 7. Today, we'll be holding a meeting of the Senate Commerce Committee. Before we get started, I'll read through a checklist to ensure that the meeting that we are holding is in compliance with the right to know law. As chair of the Commerce Committee, I find that due to the state of emergency declared by the governor as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, in accordance with the governor's emergency order number 12, pursuant to Executive Order 2020-04 and its extensions, this public body is authorized to meet electronically. Please note that there is no physical location to observe and listen contemporaneously to this meeting, which was authorized pursuant to the governor's emergency order. In accordance with the emergency order, I am confirming that we are providing public access to the meeting by telephone, with additional access possible by video and other electronic means. We're utilizing Zoom for the electronic meeting. All members of the committee and selected now legislative staff have the ability to communicate contemporaneously in this meeting through this platform, and the public has access to contemporaneously watch and or listen to the meeting on Zoom or YouTube, and via phone by following directions and links provided on the General Court website. We have provided public notice of the necessary information for accessing the meeting in the Senate calendar. We are providing a mechanism for the public to alert the public body during the meeting if there are problems with access. If anyone has a problem, please email remotesenate@leg.state.nh.us or call 603-271-6931. Once again, that's 603-271-6931. In the event the public is unable to access the meeting, we will be adjourned and rescheduled. Please note that all votes taken during this meeting shall be done by roll call vote. Finally, let's start the meeting by taking a roll call of attendance. When each member states their presence, please also state where you are and if anyone else is in the room with you during this meeting. Got it?
Got it.
Got it.
Senator Susie.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. I'm Donna Susie. I am at my home in Manchester and I'm alone.
Senator Gannon.
Thank you, Senator French. I am in beautiful Sandown, New Hampshire, home of the world famous St. Julian macaroon. Nothing tastes as good as the macaroon. And I am alone in my home office.
Senator Kavanaugh.
Good morning and happy 4/20. Kevin Kavanaugh in my home in Manchester, and my son and wife are in the house, but I am alone in the room.
And I'm Harold French, Senator District 7, broadcasting once again live from my home in Canterbury, New Hampshire. And once again, I'm alone. Senator Bradley is excused. He'll be joining us shortly. So we've got 6 bills we'll be hearing today. And all fascinating. Let me assure you, I've read them all. They're absolutely fascinating. I'm sure you'll all be enthralled with them. So we'll start off with House Bill 299 is the sponsor here.
The sponsor is Representative John Patusek, who should be able to unmute himself.
Good morning.
Good morning, John.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and Senate Commerce Committee members and staff, who usually don't get recognized for all the hard work they do. For the record, Representative John M. Patusek, Rockingham District 6, which is Derry, New Hampshire. I am also the Vice Chairman of the House Commerce Committee. I am introducing House Bill 299 at the request of the Insurance Department. This omnibus type bill will make changes to several of the laws that regulate property and casualty insurance. This bill was 17 to nothing OTP in the Commerce Committee and went on the consent calendar in the House and passed by whatever. Okay, these changes will clean up and simplify language in the statute on motor vehicle liability provisions, allow the insured's request as grounds for canceling a commercial policy, modify the definition of third-party administrators, TPAs, to include property and casualty, P&C, insurance, and remove workers' compensation, WC, insurance. I'm used to these TLAs from being in the Air Force for 6 years. Also, clarify that forms and rates filed for information only will be held confidential until they take effect, and allow insurers to include the fees for unanticipated costs when calculating rates and clarifying pro rata premium earning for personal lines policies. And finally, it will also remove, quote, excess insurance, unquote, as an exemption from the consumer protections in RSA 417-B. Ms. Emily Doherty is also here from the Insurance Department to answer any technical questions that you may have. Thank you for your consideration of this legislation. I rest my case.
Thank you very much, John. That was very fascinating, and I appreciate your delivery of it. Any questions from the committee members? Nope, you baffled them all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
The only other person that I have signed up to speak is Emily Doherty from the Insurance Department. Emily, you should be able to unmute yourself.
Hello, good morning. Can you hear me?
Good morning, we can. Can you decipher what the representative just told us?
Sure, I'd be glad to. Good morning once again. My name is Emily Doherty. I'm the property and casualty attorney at the New Hampshire Insurance Department. As was previously noted, this is an omnibus type bill that will make changes to several of the laws that regulate property and casualty insurance. And I'll just go through each of those proposed changes again. The first part of the bill proposes to add paragraph labels to RSA 264.18, which pertains to accidents and financial responsibility for motor vehicle, and also to simplify the law's language to make the statute easier to read. The bill also proposes to amend the property and casualty commercial lines cancellation statute to add cancellation at the request of the insured as a basis for cancellation. This proposed change makes the commercial lines cancellation statute consistent with the cancellation statutes that apply to personal lines property and casualty insurance. Also, the bill proposes to include all property and casualty third-party administrators within the third-party administrator statute, instead of just the workers' compensation third-party administrators. It also seeks to simplify the wording of the statute. Another proposed change is to amend RSA 400A15-F that pertains to form and rate filings to clarify that form and rates for form and rates filed for informational purposes will remain confidential until effective. The bill also proposes to amend RSA 412.15 to clarify that fees for unanticipated costs can be recovered. It also clarifies the law relative to premium earning patterns and the return of unearned premium in personal lines insurance. Lastly, the bill proposes to remove the excess insurance exemption from the cancellation and non-renewal statute RSA 417B. And those conclude my comments on the bill. I'm happy to take any questions.
Great, thank you. Any questions from the committee? Seeing none, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Mayor French, that is everyone that I had signed up to speak. If there's anyone in the call who would like to speak, you can raise your hand in Zoom using the raise hand feature. Or if you're on the phone, you can dial *9 and that'll raise your hand as well. I am not seeing any hands, Senator.
Okay, then I'll close this hearing on House Bill 299. We've got a couple minutes and then we'll pick up House Bill 518.
I don't think that's new artwork, is it, Harold? Behind you? We've seen
No,
that.
no, that's the piece I got out of a house in Eastman last winter.
When no one was home.
Yeah, it's the easiest way. You can get it cheaper that way.
That was a fascinating bill, Kevin, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'm gonna be up all night thinking about that one.
Yeah, you know, it's I like no bills more than I like insurance legislation. This next one's interesting also. How many speakers do we have on 518?
We have a grand total of 2.
2. Wow. Okay.
One more than I thought.
That in 30 seconds. Very good. Cameron is Representative Infantine. I'll open House Bill 518 and ask Representative Infantine if he's here.
Representative Infantine is here. Let me see here. All right, Representative, you should be able to unmute yourself.
Good morning.
Good morning. Please take your time. We have 15 minutes.
All right, thank you, Senator French and senators. I was listening to what you were saying. I do appreciate your art behind you, and I will make this much less interesting than it appears to be in its title. I am Will Infantine. I am from Hillsborough 13. I reside in the same district as Senator Soucy. House Bill, I introduced House Bill 518 on behalf of the Insurance Agents Association, where I serve on their executive committee. New Hampshire has very strict laws regarding rebating. We always have, and many of our insurance agents like that. You don't want to have a big corporation coming in here and saying, please do insurance with us and you may win a car or a motorcycle. Or we don't want to have situations where someone says, well, do business with me and I'll cut you back 50% on the commission that I earn. Those things we don't want to happen. They do not happen in New Hampshire. New Hampshire has a very strong history of making sure that does not happen. But there are always unintended consequences, and this is one of them. As an employee perk, many insurance agents like myself like to give back either some or all of the commissions that we receive from our employees on their personal home and auto coverage. We don't want to keep that profit. We don't want to keep that commission. We'd like to give that back to them if they choose to do business with the agency they work for. Well, according to New Hampshire law, you are not allowed to receive a commission unless you are a licensed insurance agent with the state of New Hampshire. Not everyone in our agency has a license. The human resource people, the accounting folks, they do not have such. So if I'm going to give back the commissions to my licensed employees as a perk, I can't do it to some others. Well, unfortunately, many of our members don't know this is the law and they do it anyway. So they can and sometimes do run afoul of the current law. So what this bill is very simple. It allows us to be able to pay as a benefit some of the commissions back to our non-licensed employees as an employee benefit. This bill was submitted last year. It did pass the House and then it got caught up in COVID. this year. It did pass the Commerce Committee. You know how difficult it is getting something past John Hunt. So it
Oh,
did
yeah.
pass unanimously through the committee and on the consent agenda. I would be open to take any questions. I would appreciate your support on this.
Thank you. Isn't there other ways to rebate your people without calling a commission?
Well, it is actually a commission. If you're paying, say, $1,500 for your home and auto, and my agency receives a commission on that. Okay, so that's really the only way we get compensated. So the only way I can give it out to somebody is in the form of a rebate of a certain part of commission.
Okay. You can't give it to them as a bonus.
I don't, well, I'm sure you could, Senator, and then the taxes and everything that goes associated with that, increasing their salary. No one had ever asked that of me in the last 2 years. Once we presented this to the Insurance Commission and they were okay with it, that was never brought to my attention.
Okay. Not trying to rain on your parade. I know real estate brokerage is the same way. I was just curious. Any questions from the committee members? Seeing none, thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Cameron?
The next person I have signed to speak is Hal Sullivan. I'm not seeing anyone matching that name. If you're in the call, could you raise your hand? All right, there we go. All right, Mr. Sullivan, you should be able to unmute yourself.
Good morning, Chairman French and members of the committee. For
Good
the
morning.
record, my name is Hal Sullivan, and I am the Government Relations Chair for NAFA, New Hampshire. I am a resident in Manchester. I have both my business and my home in Manchester, New Hampshire. NAFA really represents the other side, I guess, of the insurance industry, you would say. We are the advisors, brokers, financial planners who handle primarily life, health, disability, annuities, and also investments. We certainly recognize the efforts of the sponsor of the bill to try and correct the situation that they see. Our concern involves the wording that when you say rebate, it certainly gets a lot of ears up. And as Representative Infantine did say, New Hampshire has very strong rebating laws. In fact, from our side of the industry, practically all contracts with carriers provide an exclusion, a definite inclusion of the wording, you cannot share commissions with any unlicensed person. You can have your contract with a carrier terminated. You could have your securities registration revoked if you share commissions. Last Thursday, I had an internal compliance audit with our compliance department. And one of the questions that I had to answer was, have you shared in the last 90 days commissions with any unlicensed person? If I'd have been saying yes, I'd have been terminated probably within a week. So it puts the people in our side of the industry in a very difficult situation where they could be violating contracts and having pressure from employees saying, hey, I understand it's legal for you to rebate to me a commission on the product that I just purchased through you. We just don't want to be in that position of having to violate a contract or tell an employee that, no, it doesn't apply to us. Rebating is a very complicated issue. When the department gets into it and the committee gets into it, it takes it on a lot of different avenues that you can head into. We have been in contact with both ACLI and our NAFA National Council. When they looked at this bill, their impression of it was not necessary because it was already allowed. And in their estimation, back in 2005, 41 states adopted a producer licensing model act, that in the modeling act, it does contain language that says that you can share commissions, revenues with unlicensed people. But it really references, and then it bounces it back to RSA 417 and says, unless it is a rebate. And a rebate implies pressure to purchase, incentive to purchase. And while Representative Infantine has represented the situation where you're wanting to do a good thing for the employee, there are also people out there who might go to the employee and put pressure and say, we expect that you will purchase your casualty insurance from our agency. And there may be good reasons why people don't want to do that. Rebating laws are quite old. Some of them go back 75 and 100 years. So a lot of issues have come up recently, and the NAIC, the commissioners of the 50 states, they formed a task force to look at the issues of rebating. Something, most of you have all seen that Allstate commercial, that if you allow them to give you a monitor to put in your car and it monitors your driving habits, they will give you a discount. Intent was good, but in many states that's viewed as a rebate because Allstate is providing the monitor and giving you the opportunity for a discount on that. So the task force at NAIC needs to look at the rebating laws. In 2019, they formed the task force, and they are looking at all of the rebating laws. So our suggestion to the committee is we would prefer that you don't carve out a small part of the rebating laws, and rather you toss it back to the NAIC task force and wait for their recommendations and the model bill that should be coming forward on rebating as a general practice. What's allowed, what's not allowed. I mean, there's been a lot of discussion about, agencies that provide third-party services, access to human resources lawyers, other things like that. Is that a rebate? And generally the department has said is if it's in the benefit of the consumer, it's good. As Chairman French asked, and we do believe there are other ways to compensate an employee. If the employee chooses, not with pressure, chooses to put their insurance with the agency, there's nothing to stop them from giving a bonus. I mean, I have had employees that work directly for me for 30 years. I've never had to give a rebate, but I've given a lot of bonuses to people. And sometimes they were not long after the purchase of a product through us. So we certainly recognize the efforts of the sponsor, but we really don't feel that this is the right bill. And once you put the word rebating in there, it opens up all kinds of other avenues. Next year, we may have a bill that says, can I give a rebate to my cousin? Can I give a rebate to my brother-in-law? So we really don't want to go down that road. And for that reason, NAFR opposes the bill. And we would ask that you might table this and look for a broader discussion and follow the NAIC model bill. Thank you.
Thank you. So you admit in public on the record that you circumvent the law financially?
I don't circumvent the law. I've given bonuses for performance within the office.
I do have a question. Just because if the state was to make it lawful for rebating, it doesn't mean that every business would have to do it, correct?
Correct.
So if we were to pass this, making it lawful, your business wouldn't have to do it. They could opt out of doing it, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
We recognize that. I mean,
No, I was just clarifying that.
Yeah, our contracts would generally not permit it. They can be more restrictive than what the law is. But in that same vein, once you pass this bill and becomes a law, you could have an owner of an agency go to an employee and say, listen, if you place your business here, we will rebate the commission to you, and that's perfectly legal.
Right.
That's an incentive to purchase, and under RSA 417, rebates are still illegal. It's the pressure to purchase or the incentive to purchase.
Great, thank you. Any questions from the committee members? Nope, seeing none. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Senator French, that is everyone that I had signed up to speak. And I do not see any hands raised.
Keep looking. You've got 2 minutes. Then I will close this hearing on House Bill 518 and we will resume in 2 minutes. Go get some coffee. You know, I liked it much better when Kathy did this for me. Kathy? You know, you let them go for a couple minutes and they take advantage of it every time. There he is. Okay, so I'll open the hearing on House Bill 520. And is the sponsor with us?
The sponsor, Representative Bartlett, is available. You should be able to unmute yourself.
Am I all there?
You are.
Hey, good morning, Mr. Chair, Chairman French and Commerce Committee members. For the record, I'm Representative Christy Bartlett. I represent Merrimack District 19 in the city of Concord. I am introducing House Bill 520 at the request of the Insurance Department. This bill will allow for electronic delivery of insurance documents by making changes to the existing statutes and creating a new chapter. E-delivery of documents is becoming standard practice, but currently the statutes specify in-person or regular mail only. With the changes provided in this legislation, an insured may give their signed consent to receive any documents electronically. Emily Doherty is here from the Insurance Department to answer any questions you may have, and thank you for your consideration of this legislation.
Thank you, Representative. Any questions? Seeing none, thank you very much.
Thanks very much. Have a great day.
You too.
And the only individual I have signed up to speak is Emily Doherty from the Insurance Department. Emily, you should be able to unmute yourself.
Good morning once again.
Good morning.
Once again, my name is Emily Doherty. I'm the property and casualty attorney at the New Hampshire Insurance Department. To provide a general overview, this bill in large part addresses consumer demand to receive insurance documents electronically by allowing consumers that want to receive insurance documents electronically to do so. It's not mandatory. Consumers who do not want to receive electronic documents don't have to. It provides consumer choice. I'll now go through the different parts of the bill. The first part of the bill proposes to amend property and casualty cancellation and refusal to renew statutes to allow for electronic delivery of cancellation and renewal notices. The second part of the bill seeks to amend the commercial non-renewal statutes to eliminate the requirement that insurer automatically issue a non-renewal notice to policyholders where the premium will increase more than 25%, while keeping the requirement that the insurer provides 60 days notice to the policyholder if the premium increases more than 25%. The last part of the bill proposes the addition of a new statutory chapter, RSA 420Q, electronic delivery of insurance documents and notices. Under the new statutory chapter, an insurer may deliver insurance documents and notices electronically so long as the requirements of the Uniform Electronic Transactions Act, which is RSA 294-E, are met, and the recipient has consented to receiving the insurance documents and notices electronically. And those conclude my comments on this bill. I'm happy to take any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. So I have a question. If I'm insuring a vehicle and it gets close to the end of the period and I sell the vehicle, so I don't need insurance anymore, but I don't cancel, does that automatically renew, or do I have to physically go in there and call my insurance company and cancel the insurance?
If you hadn't notified the insurer or the insurance agency that you no longer had the vehicle and didn't need the insurance, I presume the insurance company would still send you a renewal notice, and you would need to tell them at that time.
Okay. Any questions from the committee members? Seeing none, thank you.
Thank you.
Senator French, that was the only individual that I had signed up. I'm looking for hands. There are none.
Then I'll close the hearing on House Bill 520.
Move we go into executive session?
I think that's great. We have a motion for executive session from Senator Susie, seconded by Senator Gannon. Senator Susie,
Yes.
Senator Gannon,
Yes.
Senator Kavanaugh,
Yes.
Senator Bradley. And Senator Bradley, you're muted.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning, glad you're here. And Senator French says yes. So would you like to take up that 520?
The one we just did. Yes, Mr. Chairman, I would move ought to pass.
I think that's great. And so we have a motion of ought to pass from Senator Susie, seconded by Senator Gannon. Any discussion?
Seems like a common sense response to consumer preference and choice. And as long as consumers can still decide, I think it's a great idea.
I agree with you. I'm so glad we're so agreeable on this committee. Senator Susie,
Yes.
Senator Bradley,
Yes,
Senator Gannon,
Yes.
Senator Kavanaugh,
Yes.
Senator French says yes. Do I have
I
a
move
motion?
consent.
We have a motion of consent from Senator Bradley, seconded by Senator Susie. Senator Gannon,
Yes.
Senator Kavanaugh,
Yes.
Senator Bradley,
Yes,
Senator Susie,
Yes.
Senator French says yes. Who'd like to take it out?
I'll take it.
Senator Kavanaugh will take that out.
sorry I was late. I had a dentist appointment. Did we take action on 299 or 518?
We have not. I'm holding those. I've got some work to do on those.
Okay, all right, no worries.
So to bring you up to date, we are going to be opening House Bill 312 next in 7 minutes.
Move we come out of executive session?
That would be wise.
Second?
A motion to come out of executive session by Senator Susie, seconded by Senator Kavanaugh. Senator Kavanaugh,
Yes,
Senator Bradley.
mixing it
Yes.
up.
I know, I love confusing everyone. Senator Gannon,
Yes.
Senator Susie,
Yes.
and Senator Frank says yes. If you would, come back at 9:45. Being 9:45, I will open hearing on House Bill 312. Is the sponsor with us, Cameron?
The sponsor is Representative Hunt, who I was told is not available today.
Right.
Um,
Oh, then again, would you like to just introduce the bill?
Sure. Let me grab a pair of glasses and I will. Thank you, Senator French. I would like to introduce House Bill 312, an act relative to deadlines consumer credit applications, licensing requirements for mortgage loan originators, examinations of family trust companies, delegation by credit union boards to committees, qualifications of banking commissioners, and authorizing depository banks to elect benefit corporation status. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I look forward to any questions of the committee.
Thank you. Could you go over each of the sections with us, Senator, and explain it fully?
I could, Senator, but I just don't think you might pick up on the nuances, so I'll let someone else go into that. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
the next person I have signed up to speak is Commissioner Little.
That's a good deal.
Commissioner, you should be able to unmute yourself.
Can you hear me?
Yep, we can. Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, everybody. Nice to see you. Thank you for allowing us to speak. I am going to quickly defer to New Hampshire Banking Department General Counsel Chiara Dolcino. Chiara is actually the author of the bill and knows the individual sections intimately. So I'm pretty sure that you should see her on the line as well, Cameron. And if you could bring up Chiara, that would be great.
Okay.
Most of the sections of this bill you'll probably recognize. A lot of it was in a piece of legislation last year that got put on the Christmas tree bill for the budget or a Christmas tree bill and was vetoed by the governor. And we did our usual, which was we went through and met with every possible person interested in it and vetted the bill with them in advance. So there's been no opposition to this bill.
Great. Thank you very much.
Okay, Chiara, you looks like you're unmuted.
Thank you. My name is Chiara Dolcino. I'm the General Counsel of the Banking Department. We did provide some written testimony to help you understand the various sections of the bill. The bill is a bill that's aimed at clarifying our existing laws, and these affect both our chartered and our licensed institutions. We think these adjustments are going to make our statutes less confusing, and it will formalize some longstanding existing interpretations of law, and also eliminate requirements that we feel are obsolete or unnecessary. So looking at the bill, I'll go through it by sections. Sections 1 through 5 and section 13 all help to clarify the deadlines that apply to the examination of our consumer credit licensees. The current law is somewhat confusing as to the deadlines, so we've clarified the deadlines and extended those to a little bit for folks. And we think this will be an overall improvement for licensees and their compliance with providing documents in the context of an exam. Section 6 affects our mortgage loan originators. With the COVID crisis, we've had a lot of folks who are loan originators working from their personal residence. Our current law could be read to require that they license in their quote home state, which would be their state of residence in the case of a teleworking individual. However, if those individuals are not actually doing a mortgage business in those home states, we feel that that requirement is unnecessary. So we're clarifying the law. Section 7 addresses family trust companies and brings provisions about examination of family trust companies into compliance with the other examination provisions for our other chartered institutions, and clarifies that the commissioner can conduct examinations more frequently than every 36 months if necessary. Section 8 through 10 clarify that a depository bank can operate as a benefit corp under RSA 293C. We currently have 2 banks that operate as benefit corps, and we just wanted to clarify that in the law that is permissible. Section 11 addresses credit union boards and their delegation of authority to committees. We're incorporating in the credit union law the same provisions that exist for our depository banks in regard to this delegation of authority, clarifying that they can delegate, that the subcommittee or committee has to keep minutes, and that the board, however, continues to oversee the committee and review the minutes, etc. And then finally, section 12 of the bill, we call it the Amelia Galdari minivan bill, because it would now allow the commissioner and deputy commissioner to engage in commonly understood loans, car loans, mortgages, without unnecessary restrictions. The current law was in place before our ethics code was adopted. And so we feel the ethics laws currently control inappropriate lending, et cetera, that would affect the commissioner and deputy commissioner. So I hope
Great.
that's helpful. I'm happy to answer any questions.
It is. Any questions from the committee members? Seeing none, thank you very much for going.
Thank you.
Okay, Senator French, that is everyone that I had signed up to speak on the bill. I am looking to see if there are any hands raised. There are not.
Then I'll close the hearing on House Bill 312. Do I have a motion for executive session?
You do.
We have a motion for executive session by Senator Bradley, seconded by Senator Kavanaugh. Senator Bradley,
Yes.
Senator Kavanaugh,
Yes.
Senator Gannon,
Yes.
Senator Susie,
Yes.
and Senator French says yes. Do I have a motion on House Bill 312?
Ought to pass.
We have a motion of ought to pass by Senator Bradley, seconded by Senator Gannon. Senator Bradley,
Yes.
Senator Kavanaugh,
Yes.
Senator Susie, Senator
Yes.
Senator Gannon,
Yes.
Senator French says yes.
Move consent.
We have motion of consent by Senator Bradley, seconded by Senator Susie. Senator Susie,
Yes.
Senator Bradley,
Yes.
Senator Kavanaugh,
Yes.
Senator Gannon,
Yes.
and Senator French says yes. I'll take this one out. Nice, that gives us. And I would have set these closer had I known. 10 o'clock, see you back.
Sure.
Or should we come out of executive session first?
So moved.
We have a motion coming out of executive session by Senator Bradley, seconded by Senator Kavanaugh. Senator Kavanaugh,
Yes.
Senator Bradley,
Yes.
Senator Susie,
Yes.
Senator Gannon,
Yes.
Senator French says yes. We'll be back at 10 o'clock.
Bad news, Senator French. Bad news for you.
What happened? What happened? What
Biden's
I
gonna-
miss?
Biden's taking the nicotine out of your cigarettes.
I saw that. I was really pleased with that. So we can just
Okay.
get the carcinogens.
There
Perfect.
you go. There you go.
Being 10 o'clock, I'll open the hearing on House Bill 519. No, he's not. Is there anyone here to introduce a bill besides Senator Gannon?
I got my glasses this time.
There is a hand raised, however, it's Chiara Dolcino from the insurance department. I don't think she can introduce.
Okay, I'll have Senator Gannon do it if he would.
Thank you, Senator French. It is my pleasure to introduce House Bill 519, an act relative to technical changes in laws administered by the Insurance Department. This bill makes various technical changes to insurance laws administered by the Insurance Department. This bill is a request of the Insurance Department. Thank you, Senator French, for listening to the act and bill.
Thank you, Senator. And could you bring on the department?
Sure. The only person signed up on this bill is Marty Mobley from the insurance department.
Great.
Marty, you should be able to unmute yourself.
Can you hear me?
We can, Marty. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Good morning, members of the Commerce Committee. I'm Marty Mobley. I'm the legal coordinator for the Insurance Department. Representative Hunt sponsored this legislation at our request in order to clean up a few of our laws. I will note that the insurance industry is also strongly in support of all of these proposals. And I'll just go through the bill section by section to make it easier. Section 1 is about reducing the retention time for records that are determined to be no longer needed or necessary from 6 years to 3 years. The department believes 6 years is much more time than is necessary or practical. And the commissioner already has the authority to determine if records can be destroyed in less than 6 years if they are no longer necessary. This change is going to help us free up our storage space so we're not keeping unnecessary records for 7 years before we can destroy them. Section 2 simplifies the language in the statute that mandates what records insurers need to maintain for market conduct purposes. In right now it says the notification of a declination. We're striking the phrase "if required by law" in RSA 400B4 because in RSA 400B2, such a declination notification is required. So to then put "if required by law," it makes it confusing. So we just want to eliminate that phrase to make it clear and clean. Section 3 simplifies the language in the statute on public hearings for the mergers of holding companies. The language right now says the commissioner shall make a determination within the 60-day period preceding the effective date of the proposed transaction. We're not always in control of when the proposed transaction's effective date's going to be. So we thought it would make it simpler to just say 30 days after the conclusion of the hearing. And that way it's not leaving it out there some unknown time frame that is yet to be determined. Section 4 changes the deadline for holding company registration renewals to be submitted to the insurance department for review. Currently, it's May 1st. The NAIC, the National Association of Insurance Commissioners, does not require us to submit these renewals to them until late fall. So by having the companies submit them to us in May, our people don't even need to review them until later in the summer or early fall. This makes it a more streamlined process. It gives them more time to get their records to us and gives our people more time or a more efficient manner of reviewing them before submitting them to the NAIC. Section 5 just corrects a citation in the pharmacy benefit managers statute. The reference the reference is to the commissioner shall adopt rules to implement RSA 402N4. 402N4 is about usual and customary price. The reference should be to paragraph 1 of 402N5, which is the consumer complaint. And the commissioner has adopted rules for that. It's in INS 2704.06. So the reference is corrected by referring back to paragraph 1 of this section or this RSA. Section 6 clarifies that a producer must be appointed to solicit or negotiate a life settlement. This is HB 1308 from last year, which passed by the House and was tabled by the Senate when the pandemic hit. It just clarifies that a producer must be appointed even before they solicit a life settlement. And this way the language will mirror what's in the statutory definitions for our life settlement producers and our insurance producer statutes, so that everything will be consistent across the board. Section 7 corrects the reference to annuity contracts in the unfair trade statute. This is just a word correction. The statute refers to them as life annuity. They're not called life annuities, they're called annuity contracts. So we're just removing the life and adding the word contracts. OLS put the coverage in there because the coverage is later after the disability as well. So I think they just made it for ease of reading. And then sections 8 through 11 are correcting an oversight. Last year, HB 1162 made changes to these same statutes with respect to children's early intervention services. However, the appropriate reference to catastrophic health plans was inadvertently omitted in each of these statutes when that change was made. It should have been included in the statute or in the bill last year. So it's just correcting the omission of that reference for those coverages for the children's early intervention services. I also submitted written testimony to go into more detail, but I'm happy to answer any questions that the committee might have.
Great, thank you. Any questions from the committee members? Any questions from the staff? I guess we're all set. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Senator French.
Senator French, Marty was the only individual I had signed up to speak. I'm looking to see if there are any hands raised. Again, if you're on the phone, you can do that by dialing *9. I am not seeing any hands, Senator French.
Then I'll close this hearing on House Bill 519. Entertain a motion for executive session. We have a motion for executive session by Senator Susie, seconded by Senator Kavanaugh. Senator Kavanaugh.
Yes.
Senator Bradley. Senator Bradley. Senator Bradley. Unmute.
Frenchie, I'm not broadcasting like you do.
Senator, who did I forget? Senator Gannon.
Yes, sir.
Senator Susie.
Yes.
Senator French says yes. Do I have a motion on this House Bill 519?
Pass.
I have a
Second.
motion ought to pass by Senator Susie, seconded by Senator Bradley. Any discussion? Senator Kavanaugh.
Yes.
Senator Bradley.
Yes.
Senator Gannon.
Yes.
Senator Susie.
Yes.
Senator French says yes.
Move consent.
I have a motion
Second.
of consent by Senator Susie, seconded by Senator Bradley. Senator Bradley.
Yes.
Senator Susie.
Yes.
Senator Kavanaugh.
Yes.
Senator Gannon.
Yes.
And Senator French says yes. Senator Gannon, you want to take that out?
Be glad to, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr.
We
Chair,
have, yes,
a quick question. Was
Sure.
there an issue with the first bill that we heard?
I
I didn't think there was any opposition to it.
there's not. You want to take it up?
Yeah.
Or that was House Bill
299.
I would move ought to pass on that one.
We have a motion of ought to pass by Senator Susie on House Bill 299, seconded by Senator Bradley. Senator Bradley,
Yes.
Senator Susie,
Yes.
Senator Gannon,
Yes.
Senator Kavanaugh,
Yes.
And Senator French says yes.
Move consent?
Second.
Motion of consent by Senator Susie, seconded by Senator Bradley. Senator Kavanaugh,
Yes.
Senator Susie,
Yes.
Senator Bradley,
Yes.
Senator Gannett,
Yes.
and Senator French says yes. Any volunteers?
Sure.
Senator Susie will take it out.
Thank you.
I have a motion to come out of executive session.
So moved.
I have a motion to come out of executive session by Senator Bradley, seconded by Senator Susie. Senator Susie,
Yes.
Senator Bradley,
Yes.
Senator Kavanaugh,
Yes.
Senator Gannett,
Yes.
Senator French says yes. We have 4 minutes and one more bill.
You're on your game, buddy.
Just like the auctions. Being 10:15, I'll open the hearing on House Bill 610. Do we have the sponsor with us?
We do not. It's Representative Hunt again.
Then my trusty co-chair will take that out. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I mean, very happy to introduce House Bill 610, requiring certain licensing and reporting functions be conducted through the nationwide multi-state licensing system and registry. And relative to background investigations of trust officers to certain filing fees, assessments and interest rates, and to the transmission of consumer complaints by the banking department. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for letting me introduce this bill. I will let others go into further detail.
Thank you so much. Do we have anyone from the department?
We do. We have both Commissioner Little and Chiara Dolcino. Do you want me to bring them in both at the same time?
Yeah, if you would.
Okay. Commissioner Little, you should be all set. And Chiara, you should be all set. You both should be able to unmute yourselves.
Thank you.
Once again, Chiara's going to lead us on this one.
Okay.
Hi again, Chiara Dolcino, General Counsel at the Banking Department. This bill is a bill that's aimed at improving efficiencies, eliminating waste, and improving the regulation of trust companies. Many of these amendments, as Commissioner Little mentioned, were proposed last session, but unfortunately were ultimately vetoed and did not pass. So I'm happy to go through the bill section by section. Beginning with sections 1 through 15, these provisions would get all of our consumer credit licensees using the NMLS platform for both licensing, filing reports, and renewing their licenses. Especially with COVID, we've come to realize that having a dual system for licensing and report filing has been cumbersome. So we're moving all of our consumer credit licensees onto the NMLS platform. These amendments related to our money transmitters were proposed last session in HB 1437, but again, ultimately did not pass. So we're hoping that this will help improve our efficiencies and that we will not be operating a dual licensing system here at the department. Sections 16 through 19 address trust companies. These changes were a part of HB 1695 last session. These changes arose from the Senate Bill 98 study committee that was convened in 2019 to look at trust company charters and improvements. So this provision in section 16 through 19 would authorize the commissioner to have new trust directors appointed to trust companies submit to a background check and pay the cost of that check. It would also authorize the bank commissioner to remove a director or an officer of a trust company or family trust company if necessary. Section 20 adjusts the fees for filing applications and other matters, applications for charter for our financial institutions. It increases the fee from $10,000 to $15,000. Again, these were amendments that were requested last session in HB 1696, but again, ultimately did not pass. The provisions in section 20 would also authorize the commissioner to impose additional costs if the application is particularly difficult or taking a significant amount of time, and we've basically expended the $15,000 fee. The request for this change will help in preventing cost shifting, which happens currently. If an application takes a significant amount of time, that cost is shifted to all of our other financial institutions that pay an assessment at the end of the year. So we feel this is more equitable and places the cost for reviewing applications on the company filing those applications. Section 21 addresses issues we've had with the assessment, which I just mentioned. Occasionally we will have an institution that dissolves or converts to a federal charter after they've incurred their share of the cost of the assessment, but before the assessment is actually invoiced to them. So this provision would help clarify that they are still responsible for paying that assessment, and it gives the commissioner some flexibility in how that assessment will be paid, whether it's paid in advance or paid after the institution is dissolved or has a federal charter. Section 22 is aimed at eliminating the need for the department to calculate the interest rate that applies to escrowed funds. These are funds used to pay taxes and insurance on mortgage property. Currently, we calculate that interest rate. The proposal would be to tie the interest rate to the Federal Open Market Committee interest rates that are publicly posted. Sections 23 through 28 would authorize the department to transmit consumer complaints via email rather than by certified mail. Again, with the pandemic, it's become very clear to us that it's very cumbersome for us to physically print up and mail by certified mail every complaint to the company that needs to respond to the complaint. So we're looking for efficiencies in allowing us to email that complaint. Again, this amendment was proposed last session in HB 1437, but ultimately was vetoed. And those are all the requested changes that we're seeking.
Great. Thank you very much. Any questions from the committee? Seeing none, thank you for your
Thank you.
testimony. Cameron?
Okay, Senator French, that was everyone that I had signed up to speak. Senator Bradley just texted me and said that he got kicked off the call. He's trying to reconnect now. But in the meantime, I do not see any hands raised on this bill.
So I'll close the hearing on House Bill 610. I don't want to exec this one today because I do have something to add on to it. So we'll do it next week. And
Anything else? I would move, we adjourn.
that would probably be good. We have a motion to adjourn by Senator Susie. Senator Kavanaugh quickly jumped in and seconded that. And so Senator Gannon,
Yes.
Senator Kavanaugh,
Yes.
Senator Susie,
Yes.
Senator French says yes. I want to thank you all very much for being here today and tell Senator Bradley it's too late to get back on. Thanks, guys.
Have
Appreciate
a
it.
good day.